Zhao Yun. If you know him from novels, dramas, or video games, you probably picture the flawless knight in shining armor, perfect loyalty, unmatched skill, dashing looks, the kind of general who could rescue babies while cutting down soldiers and never break a sweat. The man everybody agrees was too perfect. But here's the problem. In real history, Zhao Yun was never put in charge of a major army. He never governed a province like Guan Yu. He never got the blockbuster victories that made legends out of men like Huang Zhang. Instead, he spent most of his career doing things like covering retreats, protecting Liu Bei's family, and giving boring but correct advice and counsel. So why did this perfect general never get the big job? Why did his bosses keep him close but never promote him to stardom? Was he ignored, sidelined, or was something else going on? Let's untangle the myth. In the famous romance of the Three Kingdoms, Zhao Yun is basically the superhero. He's written as invincible, honorable, and pure. He charges through thousands of enemies, saves Liu Bei's son in his arms, and walks away untouched. No flaws, no compromises. That version became a cultural obsession. Plays, operas, TV series, even video games all repeat the same image, Zhao Yun the ultimate warrior. But the historical record, the sober biographies written centuries earlier, tells a more subtle story. Yes, he was brave. Yes, he was loyal. But he wasn't the main character. He wasn't entrusted with his own province or with leading massive independent campaigns. Instead, he was valued for something less glamorous, but perhaps even more important, his reliability under pressure. The myth makes him a rock star. The man was more like the emergency manager who keeps the show running while others hog the spotlight. To understand Zhao Yun's role, you have to understand the way Liu Bei handled his generals. He wasn't running a clean-cut meritocracy. He was balancing loyalty, geography, and political survival. Here's how it broke down. If you brought a regional power base with you, you got to keep it. That's how Ma Chao joined the team with his Western troops and prestige. If you were an early sworn brother, like Guan Yu or Zhang Fei, you were rewarded with a province to govern. You got soldiers, taxes, and local authority. If you won a spectacular victory, like Huang Zhang taking down the great general Xiaoyan at Mount Dingjun, you got recognition and promotions. But Zhao Yun? He didn't build a private army. He didn't run a region. He didn't lobby for his own fiefdom. He was too clean, too loyal, too unwilling to play power games. For Liu Bei, this made him perfect, but not as a governor. Instead, Zhao Yun became the man you kept close. He wasn't going to defect. He wasn't going to turn into a regional warlord. He was the bodyguard, the troubleshooter, the no-nonsense general who got the delicate jobs. Think of him as the corporate risk officer. While others got the corner offices in different branches, Zhao Yun stayed at headquarters, sitting just down the hall from the CEO.
Zhao Yun's real career highlights are all about crisis control, not conquest. Take the Battle of Changban, where Liu Bei's forces were collapsing. His family was in danger, the army was fleeing, and disaster was inevitable. Zhao Yun didn't run. He grabbed Liu Bei's infant son and fought his way out, saving the child who would later become heir. Without Zhao Yun, the dynasty ends right there. Or look at the Battle of the Han River. Zhao Yun was badly outnumbered. His troops were raw recruits, supplies were low. Instead of crumbling, he used smart maneuvers to stabilize the front, fend off pursuers, and even score a morale-boosting win. The real achievement wasn't victory, it was preventing total collapse. Later, during the northern campaigns, Zhao Yun was assigned to lead diversionary forces with inexperienced troops. It sounds like an insult, but it wasn't. The job required someone who would not break. The mission was to distract the enemy, hold them off, and retreat in good order. That's the kind of mission you only hand to someone you trust absolutely. These weren't headline-grabbing conquests, they were survival operations, and Zhao Yun excelled at them. In modern terms, he wasn't the flashy marketing executive who gets on magazine covers. He was the COO who kept the lights on when the company was going bankrupt. No glamour, but absolutely vital. Zhao Yun wasn't just steady on the battlefield. He was also steady in council meetings. He was the rare subordinate who could tell the boss, no. After Liu Bei captured Hanchang, he wanted to hand out massive rewards. Zhao Yun said, in effect, not so fast. We don't have the money or stability to afford this. He was the guy reminding everyone that payroll comes before bonuses. When plans were made to rush into war with Sun Quan, Zhao Yun objected. He pointed out the risks of overextension. He was proven right. He even opposed unnecessary political marriages that would have drained resources for little benefit. Again, unpopular, but correct. Think of him as the cautious CFO in a room full of gamblers. He's not fun, he's not dramatic, but he's the one who keeps the company from buying that Lamborghini it can't afford. Nobody loves this CFO in good times, but everyone remembers him when the crash comes. So why wasn't Zhao Yun ever given supreme command? 3 main reasons. First, no personal power base. In that era, generals were often tied to provinces or regions. Zhao Yun didn't have his own local army, tax system, or entrenched followers. That made him less suited for regional governorship. Second, too trustworthy. Paradoxically, his loyalty kept him close. Leaders didn't want to send him off with independent power. They wanted him right by their side, where he was a safeguard against betrayal or sudden collapse. Third, wrong specialization. Zhao Yun excelled at stabilizing, not expanding. He was the defensive expert, not the conqueror. You don't put your best firefighter in charge of building construction. You keep him ready to handle blazes. So instead of being ignored, Zhao Yun was typecast. He was indispensable, but always in the same role, the fixer, the bodyguard, the don't panic general. If this all sounds like an office drama, that's because it is. Let's cast the team. Guan Yu is the flashy VP of sales. Big wins, big ego, always in the spotlight. Zhang Fei is the operations chief. Loud, scary, unpredictable, but he gets production moving. Ma Chao is the prestige hire. The company poached him for his name value, not his results. Huang Zhang is the late-career superstar who nails one massive deal and retires a legend. Zhao Yun? He's the crisis manager, the COO, the guy who keeps the company alive through disasters. He doesn't get Forbes covers, he doesn't get statues, but when things go wrong, he's the first number the CEO calls. In a modern company, who usually gets promoted to CEO? The sales star, not the fixer. Zhao Yun was the fixer. Here's the twist. Because Zhao Yun never had an independent command, he never had a chance to screw up. Guan Yu lost a province, Zhang Fei was assassinated, Ma Chao faded into irrelevance. Zhao Yun, meanwhile, kept his spotless record. Chen Shu, the historian, described him as a body full of courage. That wasn't about killing thousands single-handedly, it was about never cracking under pressure. Always brave, always steady, always there. The novel later exaggerated this into superhuman feats, but the root was real. He was the man who never embarrassed his ruler, never traded trust, never collapsed in crisis. That's why his legend grew even though his actual record looks modest compared to the giants. So was Zhao Yun unlucky? Not really. He may not have been a conqueror, but he ended up remembered as flawless. He lived long, died respected, and became immortalized as the perfect general in popular culture. Meanwhile, his peers who got the flashy jobs often met grisly ends, executed, assassinated, humiliated. Zhao Yun avoided all of that. By not getting the big promotion, he kept his name untarnished. Sometimes the best way to become a legend is never to be given the chance to fail. So here's the big question for you. In your workplace, are you Zhao Yun, the reliable fixer who never gets the glamorous job but who quietly saves the company again and again? Or are you Guan Yu, chasing glory, rolling the dice, sometimes winning big but risking everything? History shows us both types get remembered. but only one walks away with a spotless record.